Greetings, strangers, queer and pleasant. I'm not Laura Kate Magnadale.
And I'm not Jane Aerith Magnadale. And welcome to another episode of Queer and Pleasant Strangers. It's a podcast for two queer trans women, that's us, we're wifey types, who are definitely awake and not mid-yawn.
What?
No, it could have been me. I could be the one yawning, who knows? We talk about pop culture media things we've been doing in the week.
Things we've enjoyed during the week.
Things we've enjoyed in the week. Some of those are things we've played.
Ooh.
Have you played anything this week you kind of you want to talk about?
Yeah, I've played a couple of things. I have played a game called The Farmer Was Replaced.
Yes, I saw you playing this the other day. What is this? How is this?
This is a game where you are... the farmer has been replaced, apparently, with a drone.
Okay.
And you are to program that drone to harvest things.
Okay.
So it's kind of an incremental game. So you've got, like... You can use the amount of wheat you've harvested in order to start planting, tilling soil and planting bushes. And then you can harvest the bushes to make wood. And you can slowly expand the amount of farmland you can have. It is designed to teach you Python.
Yes, I saw that this appeared to be a coding game of some kind. Yes, so it's teaching you Python.
Or it describes itself as Python-like.
Yeah.
Which I think is to say that, look, when you get into Python, it's probably not going to have the command harvest or till.
Yes,
you're going to have to write those yourself.
You're going to have to learn new syntax, but you are getting your head around the logic and the order of operations.
Oh, the syntax is probably the most thing. The thing is, I think, more specifically things like the functions that are innate to the farming part of this.
Yes, you are learning the basics while like using functions that aren't real functions, but.
Yeah.
You understand, like, the sentence structure, as it were, of how this coding language works.
Yeah. Remembering that semicolons are important all the fucking time.
Yep.
I have got so used to coding in Lua in Pico 8, where semicolons or colons are not the thing. But here, colons fucking everywhere.
Yes, if you accidentally a colon where a semicolon should be, everything's gonna break.
Or you shouldn't have a then there. There's no then at the end of this if statement. It's simply a colon.
Yeah.
And indentation matters. Cool, I guess. And there's no end. There's no, like, you don't end the things doing it specifically. It's quite interesting the way, like, because of that incremental nature and unlocking things nature, that it's teaching you, like, quite simple things quite quickly. It's like, okay, we're going to teach you, like, loop. Like, literally the first thing you'll unlock is a loop. Like, and that is going to be a main loop
because
for
you want your farm to continuously do its thing.
Exactly. The whole point is that you should be able to walk away from it and all the farming happens.
Yeah.
And, like, as you unlock more things, like, defs, or, I'm so used to Pico 8 where they're functions, like, so define your own functions that you can, like, pass it parameters, or you can have it return stuff, and that sort of thing, so that eventually you can code everything. And I haven't unlocked this myself, but I if I've understood it correctly in the unlock menu, there is an option that you can unlock the ability to unlock things in the unlock menu automatically. Mm-hmm. So you could go, check how much wheat I've got. Is that enough to do the next tier of thing? Well, now that I've got the thing that lets me unlock things, it will unlock whatever the next thing is.
You got your conditionals, yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, that's been some pretty interesting ideas there. And I think I played for about 4 hours on Sunday, and I feel like I've pretty much finished it. I got really in the weeds about how I was farming pumpkins, and didn't actually get around to building mazes, which is one of the sort of quite late game things. You need to build mazes to get treasure, and then you can use treasure to unlock, like, basically the final tier of a few sections. But I got so in the weeds on my pumpkins that, like, it wasn't quite right, because basically pumpkins can grow and die.
Okay.
So, but to get the most out of a pumpkin patch, you want to have a solid square, like a 6x6, will reap exponentially more pumpkins than if they had each grown as a single pumpkin and you'd harvested those pumpkins. So it was creating a function that was very specifically going to, rather than just loop, because what I had been doing up until that point was, okay, we're just going to do everything by columns. So the first column is just straw. The second column is a mixture of wood and trees, and it does a whole comparison thing with what's next to it.
Yeah.
To say, okay, cool, right, then we're going to do it in this order.
Mm-hmm.
But then all of a sudden I was looking at the pumpkin stuff. It's like, okay, well, I want it to keep going over the pumpkin section until it's guaranteed that it's got one full-size pumpkin.
Yeah.
Before it does any harvesting.
Yeah.
So there was some futzing around there that I was getting a bit in the weeds of, and eventually it was like, actually, I have to stop and record Human Zola. But yeah, I've been really enjoying that. It was a case of, I kind of wanted, I was in a bind of, I want to do some coding, but also I just kind of want to, like, enjoy my holiday and chill and to play a game. Well, now you can combine downtime with getting better at coding.
Yeah.
So, it's a fun little project. It's not super expensive, so
nice.
Give that a try if you like. What about you? How you played?
I'll talk about the thing that I played for maybe 5 hours on Sunday and then put down and I have not come back to, and I'm really disappointed that that's the case.
Daedalic disappointing people again. What?
I know. So I was playing Star Trek Voyager Across the Unknown, I believe it's called.
I believe so.
Which is a choose-your-own-adventure / ship management strategy game based
Up to a point.
Based on Star Trek Voyager. Yeah, we'll get there. But the gist is, you are playing through the story of Star Trek Voyager, the series in which a ship gets thrown, like, 70 years at the highest possible flight speed away from home. They don't want to spend 70 years travelling home, they've got to find a faster way home.
They need coffee.
Yeah, you've got to find a way home faster than that so they can get back to their lives. And the gameplay loop is, you are presented with, like, the major story beats of Voyager as, like, your main quests, and if you go exploring off the beaten track, you can come across, like, the one-episode little side quests or whatever. But you are micromanaging resource gathering, and this bit was satisfying. It's very simple. It's very, like, Mass Effect 1 planet scanning. You're scanning your planets in a system, working out what resources they have, because you're trying to make sure you have enough fuel to be powering the ship, and enough of the various building resources to be able to be repairing and building rooms on the ship, because when the ship's first pulled to the other side of the galaxy, it like, basically the whole thing's destroyed, and you're trying to manage, like, crew morale and having enough food and having enough energy, and little randomly occurring problems will pop up that are randomly generated, so it might be like, oh, we've got a tribble infestation. Oh, we got such and such an insect got on our ship and is in the food supply. What do we do about that? You make little choices. Sometimes you'll get, like, random quests where, like, a certain meter has gone below a certain amount, and, like, a member of the crew will give you a certain amount of turns to produce a solution to that problem, and your morale will go up or down depending on whether you do it in time. It is quite a challenging, like, just as a very dry, bare bones managing a crew simulator. It is a challenging game in terms of there is a lot of systems to be micromanaging, and keeping that ship moving and everyone on it happy is an interesting challenge.
Yeah.
The place where I got frustrated with this is
the whole reason you started playing this.
Yeah.
Really.
So the very first trailer for this back in, like, September of last year was like, hey, and you can make choices that are different to what the crew of the Voyager made. You can make your own choices. You can change how the adventure goes. And the one they put in the trailer, because they know that this is a divisive episode of Voyager, is they make it clear you can encounter the episode where Tuvok and Neelix get combined into one person, Tuvix, and then gets forcibly separated, and there's a whole moral argument about that. You can make the other choice. You can let Tuvix stay Tuvix.
Can you, though?
So I got there, and the first time, and this is one problem with this game, there's no ability to make manual saves, and it auto-saves frequently. And part of why this is a problem is I was halfway through the Tuvix side quest, but I'd already, done enough stuff on the main quest that I could move on to the next area. And I held down the wrong D-pad direction and accidentally moved to the next area, and it just sort of default assumed I didn't want, that, I was going to separate them back into two people, because I didn't finish the side quest.
Because that's what the game default wants you to do, right?
I very much feel that way. So, I end up replaying the whole chapter to get back to the side quest again, and I finally get back to that side quest, and I complete it, and I go, no, I'm going to stand with the Doctor and with Tuvix, and I am going to say, despite the fact it's going to piss off Neelix's girlfriend, and, morale's going to be rough on the crew for a bit, I think Tuvix has a right to life, and I'm going to choose to keep him Tuvix. The game immediately makes it very fucking clear that it does not believe this is a valid choice. The first thing it does is when you make that choice not to separate Tuvix, it goes, Neelix died, Tuvok died, and you get, memorials for, the untimely death of these characters. Which, I've gone and looked online, you don't get that for Tuvix. Tuvix doesn't get a Tuvix died, here's a memorial for Tuvix who unfortunately died. So it's already putting its thumb on the fucking scale about what it thinks is a valid choice, but I'm like, fuck it, I don't care what the game thinks, I'm gonna see this through. I get to the next chapter, and Neelix is in the fucking cutscene.
But Neelix died!
Neelix died, / is Tuvix. I thought maybe I'd done something wrong. No. On my crew, I have Tuvix. If I'm sending people on away missions, I can send Tuvix on an away mission. A thing that I thought was cool, his stats, his level is the combined level that Tuvok and Neelix had so far reached, so he was by far my most powerful, sendable on away missions character. But he never shows up in cutscenes, he never shows up in conversations, he's never part of the narrative. Neelix is still hanging around being part of the narrative, and it's very clear that the game did not account for, hey, if you make that Tuvix choice, maybe you want that to feel significant, and to, I don't know, have Tuvix now be part of the bridge crew?
No, you've done the joke direction. We're not going to take your choice seriously.
It feels like they wanted to put that choice in there, but did not want to. Because it's relatively early in their journey home back to the Alpha Quadrant.
Yeah.
They didn't want to write, even just a little bit, they didn't want to write variations on the dialogue for Tuvix is here now. And that was the thing that made me interested in playing that game. And every time Neelix's face showed up, I got less and less interested. So fuck it, I stopped playing.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was disappointing.
At that point they had your money, so.
Yeah, but I'm gonna recommend against it. If you'd let me keep having Tuvix properly around, I'd be praising it right now. I'd be telling people to check it out, but I'm not. Don't do it. It's shit.
The other thing that should be pointed out is that this game comes with Day 1 DLC.
Oh yeah,
that
it does.
Features missions from the Voyager show.
Yeah,
not many of them either.
5 of them.
I think it's 5 missions from that, and the main game itself does not have that many missions. It's got a few side missions and a couple of random characters that have been put behind this paywall of the DLC. Also, this is Daedalic, who responsible for Gollum and Deponia, and all of the bullshit and their AI apologies.
I'm going to be honest, I didn't even look into who made it because that's tiring
I only looked into it because you started playing it. I was like, you know what? Maybe I'll pick up a copy for myself, and we'll have a day where we're just parallel playing. I'll be on my PC, you'll be on the ROG. And I was like, I'll just have a quick look through the Steam reviews. Why is this mixed at best?
Yeah.
Obviously, everyone's slagging off Day 1 DLC, and I'm glad people are genuinely having enough of that bullshit, especially in cases like this. Then there's people talking about Daedalic's AI apology from when Gollum was doing terribly, and all of the people they got rid of, and it's just Nah, I'm good. I'll leave it behind. Yeah.
So what about you? What have you played?
I played Relooted. Now, you talked about this last week,
Yeah.
but I hadn't had I'd picked it up, but I hadn't had a chance to play it
I
yet.
was really digging it. How are you finding it?
I'm really digging it. So this is a game about repatriating art stolen from all across Africa.
Yeah.
And bringing it back to... the plan is to return it to a museum sort of secretly. The whole plot is basically that there was like a serious repatriation scheme in progress.
Yeah.
And then the museums that have a lot of stolen artifacts realised that there was a loophole in the law that about repatriation, that the things they have to give back is stuff that is on display.
Yes. Fun fact. That is based on real-world bullshit that the British Museum has pulled.
Yep.
That is why most of the culturally significant artifacts that the British Museum holds
are in boxes out back.
Yeah, literally, they're holding onto them not even to display them. They're holding onto them to hold onto them.
But what the game also points out is that these places are taking money for private viewings of these things from people rich enough to see it. So the culture whose artifacts these are not allowed to see them. But if you've got enough money to get a private viewing at the British Museum, for example,
yes,
you can go do this.
Mm-hmm.
You brought up an interesting thing about my friend Pedro.
Yes, I want to feel efficient. I want to feel like I'm good at the game while I'm playing it.
And I have to say, I think this game beautifully rounds off the edges that I found with my friend Pedro.
You see what I mean about, like, this game wants you to feel like you are the beautiful Twitch streamer doing very elegant gameplay.
Your character is like a former pro parkour person.
Yeah.
I don't know what you call someone who does parkour.
Parkour runner?
Parkour runner, I guess.
Yeah.
And she initially is just like back in town to save her brother who's got himself into some bullshit.
Yes, he stole some shit he shouldn't have.
He stole some shit and
sold some bad shit to some bad people.
He sold a security system
he knew was faulty.
that he knew was faulty to people he was concerned that basically on moral grounds he didn't think it would be a good idea for them to have a good security system.
Yes, which I can respect that.
Yeah, I think they do a good job of going... It avoids that thing from like recent Marvel movies of why are these the bad guys?
Yes.
You can tell very much that they realise that they're doing stuff they shouldn't, but it has been at the end of years and years of private collectors taking things, museums taking things off of display so that they don't have to repatriate them.
If we're going to try and do the right thing and over get fucked over, and like you're going to find shitty ways to not do the right thing, then why should we have to keep trying to do the right thing too? Yeah, fuck it, we'll play dirty too.
It's interesting how like the tutorial mission and the first couple of missions thereafter are quite... Like, it does a really good job of introducing things to you slowly. Like, okay, you're going to get a chance to wander around this area, and you're going to be able to, like, experience certain things from certain angles. You're going to have, like, quite a free run. Like, you're going to have access to the stairs and things. But as the game goes on, you're slowly getting more and more features added. So, like, you're getting your brother turning up, who's just a hacker. So if you spot a door... in the background, because this is like 2.5D. If you spot a door in the background near a locked door, there's going to be an option to like hold down a button and summon your brother, possibly in more than one position, and he'll be able to like unlock security doors. And there's like this whole process of okay, so before I like grab the artifact, I need to like work out exactly what my escape route's going to be.
Yes.
And things like that. And then as the game goes on, you get like a drone quite quickly, and that is introduced. So you're getting this drone that will allow you to sort of go out, like get a view outside of the main map. You can sort of hover around and you'll be able to see through all the walls and get an idea of like, okay, where is there a security drone?
Yeah.
Because I need to get around that area with a security drone. And so the start, it goes from kind of being like, you're in the mission to, okay, you're going to spend a good amount of time, like maybe 5-10 minutes, scrolling around the map, getting a really good feel for everything, working out where you want to place your companions, because there's this kid who's got like a zip line who will come and help you, but like you might not have. He's like, look, I can only get to 2 out of 3 places.
Yeah.
In the amount of time that we'll need, so you just tell me which 2 places you want me to be.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, well, I think this is a good idea, and this is a good idea, and this will help me in this way. And then working out like a perfect line. And interestingly, like with the one, I think it's like the 4th or 5th mission, there's this whole aspect of like, okay, yep, I've looked at the main map and I've worked out all these things. And I've like recce'd everything. I've designed exactly my whole thing, and then it puts you in a space that's slightly further outside the map than you were expecting, and it's like, oh, hang on, I hadn't factored in how I get through this section of the map, and it is a little puzzle just leading you into the main mission.
It's a fascinating game, right?
It is. I'm really enjoying it, and I am enjoying that sense of fluidity. Also, the speed at which you can go, fuck this run up a little bit, to just go, okay, I'll go right back to the second before I picked up the treasure.
Yeah.
Because it is literally like snap fingers reloaded. There's no like, we're going to have like a conversational thing. There's no, it's just like, look, you realise that you like fucked one jump up, or you jumped when you should have like hit the button to like hop over.
Yeah.
Because you get speed boosts, and you get rewards for how many speed boosts you do on the way out.
Yeah.
So, or like trying to do all of the speed boosts on the way out. That's really interesting. And then, like, the other thing is, on the introduction to missions in the briefing room, before you've even started, like, doing reconnaissance stuff, they give, like, a really nice explanation of what this thing is, where it is from, and some of the history of what these items are and what they mean to the people of that area.
Yes.
Which is really interesting. And then obviously you've got the different characters are from different parts of the continent. So talking about how, this is like something to do with like your relatives and like where you're from, and this is something to do with like where you're from and so forth. And I think that's really interesting to get more perspective on the things you're finding. And also, like, as you're walking around some of the levels, you'll just find artifacts that you're not actually picking up, but you do get an opportunity to scan and learn more about what this means.
Yeah.
And it's like, hang on, I know that from a John Oliver thing talking about the Benin bronzes.
Yes.
I know that one. Yeah, I'm really enjoying it so far. I need to get back in and play more of that.
Same.
Yeah.
The writing's charming.
It is, the character's really fun.
Cutscenes are beautifully animated. So much personality.
Brother-sister relationship between the main character and her brother are just fantastic. Although I do kind of feel sorry for the guy, for all his goofiness. The fact that literally everyone on the team is like, your brother's an idiot.
He's a well-meaning idiot.
He is well-meaning, but he's incredibly headstrong, and he you can understand how he got himself in trouble.
Yes, but also you need that kind of headstrongness to,
start this.
Have someone who's willing to give this whole plan a go.
Yes.
So yeah, fab game that.
Yeah, loving Relooted. What about you?
I've been playing some demos in Steam Next Fest for some things that are coming out that I'm excited about. I played the demo for Vampire Crawlers, which is the first-person deck builder, dungeon crawler, Vampire Survivors game. I think this game's going to be a really big time sink, and I think it's going to be really popular. So, rather than being like real-time enemies are coming in at you, in the way that Vampire Survivors is, where it's all like very overwhelming, and it's about like reacting as much as you can to this very overwhelming set of waves of things coming in. This is classic style dungeon crawler. You've got a map in the bottom right so you can see where you're going. Enemies are in static positions, so they're all marked on the map. You walk to a square where an enemy is, and you start a fight. And you'll draw 3 cards from your deck of cards, which will require differing amounts of mana to play. There is a system where if you play cards that have gradually increasing mana numbers in a turn, you will get bonuses to their effectiveness. So if you play a 0 mana card followed by a 1 mana card followed by a 2 mana card, you'll double and then double again the effectiveness of those cards. So you're really incentivized to have a good mixture of mana values in your deck when you're picking new cards to add to it, so that you can continually be getting the I've got a 2 and a 3 in my hand, I'll play the 2, then the 3, and then the 3 will do double what it would normally do because I played it after a 2. That system's pretty cool. You can unlock gems that are basically sort of like the stickers you would have in a legacy game, that are just like a modifier you stick onto a card, or just like the stuff you see in some of the unsets in Magic the Gathering. I think one of the unsets had little stickers you could add onto some of the cards. I think that was the thing I remember.
It's outside of my knowledge if that is the case.
I thought it was on one of the ones that we tried. I might be remembering.
We only tried Unsanctioned, so and that's a box set with no changes to the cards.
No, my apologies if I'm misremembering that, but that you might apply when you play this card, you additionally increase your shield value, or I put a 2 times damage sticker on this card or whatever.
And those are just for the run? Or?
They're just for the run.
Okay.
Rather than playing as a specific character, you're playing as, your first person, you're generically no one, but you can go to the bar before a run and hire characters who will be their card will be added to your deck, and their card will regularly do, one thing. So it might be it'll also, I think, determine what starting weapon you have. So if you hire one particular character, I think it's the next 5 times you play a red card, you'll do 10% more damage with that card than you normally will. And it'll add, X number of shield value or something. So, you're picking, a unique card that is going to regularly incentivize certain card types being played, and that will sort of lead into your deck building style.
Yeah.
Each level you're on, it's very clear where the boss of that level is. You defeat that boss enemy, you dig down to the next level down.
Okay.
And you do, I think, 4 floors in a run.
Okay.
Your incentive to fight stuff that isn't the boss is getting enough levels to improve your deck and stuff before you go over there. You've got permanent upgrades between runs to purchase, so things like gain 1 health back after every time you successfully complete a fight might be one of them. Start each encounter with X number of shield to protect from that many incoming damage, things like that. It's all of the regular weapons you're used to from base Vampire Survivors, but they're useful in different ways. And you have to keep in mind what is going to be useful moment to moment versus situationally. The magic wand does really good damage against a single target, but when most regular encounters you're fighting, there'll be 5 or 6 enemies on the front line, and when you've played your 3 cards, they're going to attack. That wand card isn't going to be very helpful. You want to be doing stuff that's attacking the entire front row.
Yeah.
So you're incentivized to balance how frequently do I pick up cards that are going to do good single target damage that are going to be great against the bosses, but that I don't want to be too frequently drawing in my hands against regular waves. Or can I pick up one of those cards and then get a sticker for it that makes it hit more targets at once, perhaps, to make it more usable? It's a really well-featured demo. It reminded me of something like Racoin, which the demo for is back up, and it finally has a release date. It's weeks away. In terms of feeling like a really generous demo, where it's I could play this demo for a long time. It knows it's got to get its hooks in you, and there's a lot of demo to play around with. But yeah, very... I don't know what I was expecting. I didn't expect it to grab me as much as it did. I'm very into the demo.
Is this one actually made by Poncle, or is this one of we've given the license to someone else?
I believe this is made by actual Poncle. Okay. So yeah, I would highly recommend checking the Vampire Crawlers demo out. What about you? Have you played anything else this week?
No, that's it for me.
I played one other demo of note during Steam Next Fest that I want to talk about. And this one is called Densha Attack. This is a game in which it's set in a futuristic version of Japan where, like, various cities in Japan have become these big techno metropolises, but that's not who we're playing as. We're playing as a girl from a rural community that is not adopted this, like, rapid futurization, who is a train driver. Her job back home is to deliver food on like, a little train trolley to people.
Uh-huh.
But she does so while, like, boosting around corners and doing, like, skateboard tricks.
Okay.
And, like, absolutely, like, doing anime aerial flips and things while trying to do her deliveries. Turns out there's, like, a community of people across Japan who do this sport called Densha Attack, which is basically anime skateboarding on rails. Do as many cool, sick skateboard tricks as you can while, like, drifting around corners and racing enemies.
I feel like I've seen this advertised.
Yeah, it's been
It's
having...
like a yellow...
Yeah. It's had trailers for a while, and this is the first time there's been a demo build of it.
Nice.
So the way that, like, an actual, like, playthrough in this works is you'll go to an area and a specific level will have, like, a few things you're being scored on. Out of 3 stars, how quickly can you complete the level? And you can get up to 3 stars on that, and it'll, like, tell you what time you need to hit to get your next star. How many points did you get on the level, which is to do with, like, doing a bunch of tricks. Your tricks are basically, you can hold down the right trigger and then let go of it at any time to jump, and while you're in the air, you use the right stick to flick it in various directions, doing your quarter circles, half circles to do your tricks.
Mm-hmm.
Try and land successfully so you don't lose your points. Generally around the level the way that you speed up is that you, as you're going into a turn, you hold down the left trigger and a meter will show up, and you let go of the left trigger when this meter's, like, right in the middle. So you're trying to, like, get boosts off of each corner by holding in the drift for X amount of time.
Right.
Often tracks will end prematurely, so you're having to use the jump function to also hop between tracks to avoid, like, crashing into things. Also, each level has, like, 7 secret objectives. Well, not secret. They completely list it out for you. Special objectives that are to encourage you to, like, be completionist about the level.
Mm-hmm.
And they might be things like, do X number of perfectly scored drifts in a race, or get through a whole level without crashing at any point, or scare the bats in the cave. Which cave are we talking about? I found a cave in this particular level where I had to honk my horn and some bats were like, oh, and did a little scared animation. Poor bats. But there's also a bunch of collectibles you can see around the levels you're trying to collect. There is, like, a whole bunch of different things to keep replaying the level to, like, try and squeeze more out of.
Okay.
But it's also just anime train racing with cool skateboard tricks. Against, like, anime train conductors.
Hell yeah.
It's really cool.
Nice.
It feels great to play. I really like the density of stuff hidden in each level, that it very much is the kind of game I don't just want to play a level once and keep moving. I'm like, no, I gotta do it better. It's just anime and trains, and it's very good. Densha Attack, it looks good in trailers, and having played it, I'm very hyped for it.
Hell yeah.
So that's the other one I played this week.
No other demos?
No, those are the ones that felt worth talking about that I've played so far.
Well then.
Time for this.
If you're constantly seeing adverts on YouTube or elsewhere on the internet advertising how you can make money hosting seminars, I'm here to solve all of your problems regarding that. Join me as I host a seminar about how you can make money hosting seminars, telling people how to avoid seminar pyramid scams. And I don't imagine I'm going to sell a lot of these, but if we get enough of the word out there, no one will ever need to make one of these adverts ever again. Hello.
Yes?
We've got a new-ish sponsor.
Who's our new sponsor?
Well, this week's sponsor is Functional or Aesthetic, the weather app that tells you if beautiful sunny spring day is warm or just bright.
Is that sunshine brackets the visual effect, or sunshine brackets an actual
toasty
summer's
warm.
day, yeah.
A little bit of radiation for me, thank you very much. Keep me warm. Cozy goods. That is functionalaesthetic.lol.net. Enter the code Warm Chili Willy. No, nope, not that one. Function aesthetic. That's probably a safer one. Yes, yes. So, what have you put in your eyes or ears?
Shall we put the thing we went and saw in person
The
the
thing
other
we got
day?
trapped in London for yesterday.
Yeah, we got invited to a press preview for a theatre show in London.
Theatre.
We went and saw the press evening for Blink,
Is.
which is a performance that was originally written about 10 years ago and is being revived.
It's described as a parasocial love story.
That it sure is. It is roughly 80 minutes long. It stars Abigail Thorne as one of the two leads in it.
And the other person is the writer.
The other person is the writer, yes. And how to even begin talking about the wild journey that is this play?
Two people, each from very different backgrounds, inherit a bunch of money and end up in London. And one of them owns the building and the other one rents the downstairs flat from them. And one has a personal crisis about feeling like they're not real anymore.
Yeah.
Partly, perhaps, because their life now consists of staying at home, ordering takeaways, and playing Red Dead...
Undead Nightmare.
Undead Nightmare.
Yeah. Yes, they're having a derealization crisis about being kind of invisible in life.
Yes. So they send a baby monitor handset to their downstairs neighbour / tenant.
Yes.
So that they can be watched.
Yeah. So basically what we have is the love story, ? Between a woman so desperate to be perceived that she's kind of trying to trick a man into voyeurism, and a
man who's very definitely a voyeur.
Yeah, a man who grew up in a religious cult on a farm and used to be like the person who would be set like watching the perimeter of the farm at night was his job. Like he had to watch for like people coming to stop the cult. So we got very used to sitting and watching people. And that put in his head, I quite enjoy watching people maybe who don't know that they're being watched. Maybe I watch them through like a camera lens. And it is the love story between a woman desperate to be watched and a man who doesn't know that she knows he's watching. He thinks
he never questions the whole, where did this baby monitor that is connected to my upstairs neighbour come from?
Well, he didn't know it was his upstairs neighbour initially,
until she drops a box.
Yes, it is very much, as far as he's concerned, he is watching a woman who has no idea she's being watched, and he kind of prefers it that way. And she's like, I know that I know he's watching me. I don't care.
I know, because there is a light that comes on the camera as soon as he's watching.
Yeah. This is a story of two deeply unhealthy people.
Very
unhealthy people. That definitely plays very differently today than I imagine it did 10 years ago.
Yes.
Given the increased prevalence of, like, IRL Twitch streaming.
Yeah.
It's hard not to... There's moments in this that were hard not to think of through the lens of streaming culture existing.
Yeah.
Like there is a point where the watching relationship between the two of them ceases to be one person watching someone else through a screen and becomes a little more in person.
Because he starts following it out in the street.
Yeah. And the conversations around that entirely felt like someone who is an IRL Twitch streamer and realizes they've got their first stalker and is like, do I stop Twitch streaming? No, maybe I'm okay with like being followed around a little out here. It's not like they're doing
not actually
anything.
harming me.
Yeah, it feels like the wrestling with is this a flattering level of I'm worth following, versus like, oh no, where is your self-protection instinct?
Yes.
Back the fuck out now.
Because for all they feel they know about you, you know fuck all about them.
But yeah, 100% this is like a parasocial relationship entirely. It is this one-sided voyeuristic relationship.
Yes.
And there's some really fascinating explorations of like, this woman has created essentially an invitation for this man to, as far as he's concerned, unconsensually stalk her. And like, she's constantly surprised when he escalates the degree to which he unconsensually follows her. It's like, what did you expect? You created a situation where a man... You hoped a man would ignore your consent and boundaries as far as he's concerned. You don't get to go, well, I hoped he would know when to stop, when I would want him to stop violating my consent and boundaries.
The rules that I never told him about existed.
Yeah. How dare he escalate? Yeah. He was allowed to break the first rule that I didn't tell him existed. She should have known to stop after that. Deeply uncomfortable in places in terms of the playing around at where that line sits. And the steps that man takes it upon himself to take.
Yes. The play is really interesting from like a point of view of, as someone who streams, as someone who is married to someone who I first learned about through watching like video podcasts.
Yeah. I couldn't not think about the fact that your first awareness of me was watching me through a screen one-sidedly.
Yes. And then sort of getting to know you in a fan group for someone else entirely.
Yeah.
Technically. And like building from that. And I'm glad it all worked out well. But yeah, like as someone who's sort of been that sort of like, because when we first met, there was a lot of like, I can tell you about things that about me, if you like, but I feel like most of the stuff that you would bring up as stories, you've already told on podcasts and I already knew.
It's very hard to start like the casual small talk bit of a relationship when a lot of that is just facts the other person already knows.
Yeah, you've got to delve a little bit deeper into the things that you wouldn't talk about necessarily online. And weirdly, like, start a relationship, those are probably the things you don't necessarily immediately throw out there.
No.
Usually.
But yeah, it's it is a fascinating performance. I thought it ended in a really interesting place.
Yes, it resolves its major problem and then sort of talks about how both of these characters just still have problems.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
No one ends up, like, ultimately very changed by this.
They are fulfilled in a healthier way by the end.
Indeed, but he at least still has deep problems with voyeurism.
That's the thing. It's the two of them both have this sort of idealistic vision of what this could be, but ultimately it is what it is, and it's meeting the needs it needs to meet, and it's an interesting exploration of getting into a healthy relationship doesn't necessarily change the things that were unhealthy outside of that.
Yes.
When you were individuals, you might have had some unhealthy needs, and being together doesn't change the fact that those needs still kind of need to be met. And maybe the healthiest way to meet them is in a healthy way together.
So except that occasionally your boyfriend is getting be moved on by the police.
Well, no, maybe there's healthier ways to do it than that.
Maybe.
Yeah.
It's well acted, and for the tiny stage,
yes,
they do incredible things with what they have there.
The stage is basically, when you initially come in, a square space in the center of the room, a raised area that has like a glass couch and table and lamp.
It's like an acrylic couch with an acrylic table, an acrylic photo frame with no photo in it.
Yeah,
and a like a transparent like clip folder for putting like small documents in, like A5 documents in. But it speaks to the transparency, the
Yep.
both of her feeling unobserved and invisible.
Yes.
And
also
the amount that she is putting on show.
Yes. You got a back wall of screens that's used to fantastic effect.
Yes. Initially, it's quite weird trying to work out exactly what you're seeing, and I think it is most of those first few monologues, images shown over the top of each other, and then with like a noise filter over the top.
Yes. There's a couple of elements that are not immediately obvious to the staging.
Yes.
That are very cleverly deployed at the right moment.
Yes.
And anything that's introduced to the staging is reused in really interesting ways that, like, nothing ever has to come from outside the staging or was introduced and then has to be, like, stage-handed away. It's all reused very cleverly.
Yes. The opening is quite interesting as well, in that I mean, I don't know how it would be on a fuller night, but I assume there is always at least one seat on that side that is always unused, so that the writer / male character Jonah can sit and do his lines, but in a way that is conversational with a member of the audience.
It was so necessary because I think it's setting the thing up right from the start that he like us,
you're an observer.
Yeah, you're an observer.
I'm an observer.
Yeah, it is making you a little complicit in what he's up to in a way that, like, makes you feel a little gross and is kind of important to the narrative. You have to be like him, an outside observer, just kind of gawking at this.
Yes.
Fantastically performed. It is 80 minutes, no interval. That 80 minutes flew by.
It moves quickly.
Content warning for mentions of suicide. Discussions of grief.
Road traffic accidents.
Yeah.
Time in hospital.
Yeah. Parental bereavement.
Pancreatic cancer.
Yes. There is also some flashing lights and some light haze. It's not like heavy use of smoke machine.
It was weird. It didn't feel like a smoke machine. It felt more like one of those vaporizers.
Yeah, there is definitely something in the air, but it's not heavily smoke machined.
Not heavily smoke machined, and it's constantly moving around, either through just the general motion of air through the auditorium or whatever else. Interesting space as well. I've never been to that.
Yeah, there's the King's Head Theatre.
The King's Head Theatre, which is at 4 below, which is to say it's 4 floors below ground level.
There is a lift.
There is a lift, and there is step-free access if needed to get into the auditorium. Because weirdly, you're like, well, you can get in the lift, and then to get into the auditorium, they make you go up some stairs and around a corner. And I did ask on the way out, I was like, is there, just for my notes, is there step-free access? There is, in fact, step-free access.
At most, any of the seats is 5 steps up. There's only, like, 5 steps in the room.
Seats are quite narrow, so if you're tubby like me, you might struggle a little bit.
Yeah, they're definitely on the narrow side, but it's a very intimate space, that theatre.
Yes.
Like, and I think it's
the front row have their feet technically on the stage.
It's the perfect kind of theatre for a performance like this, because, like, all of the little micro performances are close enough to see in detail without, like, you're never. There's no bad seat in that room, I don't think, for that performance. So.
Although I did notice that a couple of rows that weren't full on the sides. Because there's seating all around that stage.
Yes, 3-side seating.
And again, I think that really helps with this particular story.
Yeah.
To feel like those people are observed.
Yes.
From all angles. But they were shifting people up towards the the far end of the room so that they would have a better angle.
Yeah, it's definitely performed front-facing.
Yes.
If you can, I would suggest trying for one of the front-facing seats, but, like, even from the side, you're not going to have a bad look at this.
I don't think so, no.
Yeah, tickets are between £10 and £40, depending on what seats and what day you see it.
Yeah, I think it was like £22 to $36.50, and there are some, I can't remember what you call it, but tickets, like reduced price tickets for people who need a cheaper ticket. So there are some limited £10 tickets available.
I believe every performance has £10 tickets available.
Nice. And it's a registered charity. Yeah. I have not had cash on me for a while.
I
Gave it
left
to someone on train a little while before.
I left my purse at home and was like, oops, sorry about
I was
that.
like, oh, fuck.
But yeah, superb performance. They're doing this for a month. I believe it's until the 22nd of March it's running.
It is not sold out yet?
It is...
Or it wasn't yesterday?
Every day other than... I'm trying to remember the dates now. Most days of the week. Saturday there's 2 performances. I believe Friday there's no performances. I think there's one night of the week there's no performances. But most of the next month it's running. And fascinating performance that I will be thinking about for a while. So yeah, we look at us theatre critics.
Yeah.
What about you? What have you put in your eyes or ears this week?
We watched Demi Adejuyigbe. We'll do one brackets one backflip.
One backflip.
This was an interesting, chaotic, one-man, technically, show on part of the Dropout Present series.
Yep. It felt like you've only seen Inside from Bo Burnham's work.
Yes.
But this felt very in line with like some of Bo Burnham's earlier staged stand-up specials, like Make Happy, for example. Mixed with like a little bit of if you're a Dropout regular, something like Smarty Pants Society, that sort of doing silly presentations vibe.
Yes.
As we explore the story of Demi doing the flip system, AFLIP exclamation mark, the multi-stage system to impress a person that you would like to romantically date that ends with doing a backflip.
Yeah. That's the exclamation point.
That's the exclamation point, is the backflip.
Yeah, and he is doing all of this in pursuit of Marge Simpson.
Yes. His crush, Marge Simpson, he's got a seat reserved for her in the front row, because she said once that it would be sexy to see someone do a backflip. So he's doing a show and having to stall until she arrives so he can do his backflip.
But she's gone to another party and she has not taken her reserved seat, so they had to release it.
Yeah, it is beautifully chaotic, this.
It is beautifully chaotic. It's quite emotional in a few places. It's very silly.
It's very clear that Dropout has, in their Dropout Presents, their stand-up specials they've been commissioning, they have a real taste for comedy specials that in the last, 15 minutes get real open and raw. This reminds me a bit of, Chris Thingybob as Scarlett Johansson.
Yes.
We had a little bit of it at the end of, what was it,
Cameron Esposito's one.
Yeah, Sexbot 5000.
I can't remember who that one was, but yes.
Yeah.
That one.
There's been a few of Dropouts that have had this vibe. And this is
Pissing Out Counts for the Hank Green one.
Yeah.
Not quite emotional for obvious reasons.
But yes, this... when I compare this to Bo Burnham's other work, it's that aspect that, really, I think of, is that getting right to the end and having, a fourth wall break to the audience of, let me be emotionally vulnerable about the journey that led to this work being what it is. And...
Given all that, do you still want me to do a backflip?
Yeah. Do you... I'm gonna be very vulnerable about the creative process and about, the things I feel I have to do as a creator. Now, do you wanna... Is this a, now dance for me, dance situation? And
as someone who creates, I very much felt some of the moments in this, some of the harsher moments in this.
As someone who has done things that I've deeply not enjoyed on the internet for money, looks at eating those terrible beans once upon a time...
I don't remember the terrible beans. I have been listening to old podquisitions recently, and I've got to... Last summer, I remembered you getting this very heavy box delivered at one point, and you were like, drinks for podquisition, and then I completely forgot that ever happened. So I've now got to you drinking the Pac-Man beverage, and whatever the other one was.
Yes,
yes. And the fucking vinegar Doritos.
Oh, yes. Well, many years ago I had, what was it, the Buffalo Wild Wing soda?
Yeah, you also had those fucking, was it Buffalo Wings Oreos?
Oh, yeah.
And the wasabi Oreos?
Again, speaking to, sometimes you do things that are not good for you on the internet because, you're... the desperate need to be relevant on the internet.
I would do more of that stuff, but sadly most of it isn't vegan.
Sadly is an interesting choice of word there. Back to Demi's special. It's very good. Demi does one backflip. It's a good special. Dropbox has got real good taste in those stand-ups.
They really have.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to more. I believe there is another one coming soon. So
I believe
excited to see
so.
that. Have you watched anything else?
We watched some films at the weekend. I'll start with the one I watched by myself.
Yay.
I watched the new Sony Pictures animation film, Goat. It's about a goat playing basketball on a team of... It's Haikyuu. It's the sports anime Haikyuu, but with
animals.
With animals. It's What If Zootopia, but Haikyuu. Because, hey... What if there was a person who wanted to do a sport, and it's a sport that traditionally involved jumping very high to score, and they wanted to be like the big impressive point scorer that has to jump high, but they're quite short. They're much shorter than the people around them, and everyone tells them like, you can't be that member of the sports team, because you're too small. You're too small to be that member of the sports team. Usually, big tall people are that member of the sports team, but he can jump real good, and he's gonna prove that, like, not only is he going to prove that he can be the best on the sports team, but he's going to make the team be friends. The team that, like, they initially think
they're quite dysfunctional.
They're quite dysfunctional. One of the team is like, I'm the best and I can do it solo. I don't need this to be a team sport.
I've certainly never heard of this before.
And sort of emotionally isolates themselves from the rest of the team and eventually has to go, maybe maybe we would actually win if I worked as a team, and I'm going to have to work with you, short player, and together maybe we'll win the championship. Maybe we'll go to nationals. It's Haikyuu, but with a goat.
And basketball instead
with
of
basketball instead of volleyball.
And he wish he was a little bit taller. He wish he was a baller.
He do wish he was a little bit taller, wish he was a baller. They get a lot of mileage out of they wish he was a little bit taller, wish he was a baller.
I mean, it was in the trailer, I imagine that was going to happen.
Yeah, they do. Also, the fact that, like, he is a goat, but if he was the greatest of all time, he would be the goat. That... I hope you're ready for that to be, like, kind of rubbed in your face every 3 minutes.
I'll be honest, as soon as I saw the trailer for it, I thought that's gonna come up at least a few times.
Yes, like, there is an entire scene about, like, is this character gonna get replaced as the goat by a goat? Is a goat gonna be the goat? Is a goat gonna be the goat?
Yeah. Is goat still relevant?
That being said, there's some interesting exploration of, like, people in positions of financial authority taking advantage of members of minority groups for financial gain without really caring about, like, the actual outcomes for those people.
What?
There is some stuff that definitely feels like it's, exploring the exploitation of people for stunt value. That's kind of interesting. I like that the sports scenes are all animated at a different frame rate to the rest of the animation, and it gives it this very unreal, locked in the zone feel to the, like, I'm doing the sport and suddenly it all feels very different. Gorgeously animated. Yeah. This is the people that did the Mitchells vs. the Machines, K-pop Demon Hunters, the Spider-Verse films. This is yet another gorgeous looking film from them. Very well paced. It's none of the stuff it is saying is particularly revolutionary, but it's well paced and it keeps it. It's a very nice watch.
Yeah.
Do you want to bring up the film that we watched together after that?
We then together watched Good Luck, Have Fun, Don't Die.
Oh, that was a fucking fantastic film.
We saw the trailer for this and was like, yeah, that's good. That's going to be good.
Yeah.
And it was really good.
It was good enough that it did justify going, like, a couple of towns over to go see it.
Yes.
It was worth the trip to go see.
Yeah. Enjoyed it. It's the story of a man who is travelling back in time, again, to a diner to pick 7 random people to attempt to save the world before a 9-year-old child creates the AI singularity that will bring about the end of humanity and the apocalypse, end of the world.
Yep.
Which he grew up in.
There is 90 minutes, and I've got to grab a handful of you and hope that whichever handful I grab this time has the right combination of skills that we can do this.
I have been with a bunch of you in the 117 previous times. So some of you, I just no. Just no, not you.
Never you.
You put your fucking hand
You fuck
down
it
there.
up every time you volunteer, and every time you fuck it up.
And you always try and shoot me, and you always call the cops.
Yeah.
It's a pretty fascinating story that we obviously can't tell a huge amount about because but okay, we can talk about some of the flashback stuff. So we've got the teacher and her substitute teacher boyfriend.
Yeah.
Who realised that children are being turned into zombies by TikTok.
Yes. TikTok is very literally hypnotizing them into violent comatose states, and we got to do something about that. We've got the woman who is grieving her dead child, who is hoping technology will provide a solution to that,
which is something that had been talked about in the last few years. About like, oh yeah, we can just fill an AI with your child, and then it'll be like you never lost your child. You won't have to process your grief properly. Why would you even? Simply don't process your grief, and instead we'll make an AI version of your child.
We have woman whose boyfriend is a little too obsessed with VR.
Yes,
I like the way
within the matter of a day.
Yeah.
And also she's allergic to Wi-Fi and technology. She gets a nosebleed every time she's near, mobile phone.
There's other characters as well, but I think, the thing that these examples are a good handful of is a good chunk of this film is essentially, going on little tangents to do, a mini episode of Black Mirror.
Yes.
To be like, hey, a man who you have no reason to believe has walked into a diner and told you the world's going to end in 90 minutes and that he's gonna blow himself up if some people don't come help him. What would motivate the people in this room to put their hand up and go, I believe you, I'll come with you for the next 90 minutes and try and save the world?
I imagine that got easier the longer it went on, because he had actually had some experiences with some of these people, and he could say things like, you've got 80 cents in your pocket.
Well, yeah, but I think, these little mini Black Mirror episodes basically serve to be for the ones whom he's not done a little time travel magic trick for, what is their experience with the horrors of the impending AI age that are making them go, yeah, I can believe that we might be 90 minutes from technology going too far. I'll put my life on the line for this.
We're only 90 minutes away from just the worst of all possible outcomes.
Yeah, it's...
And then the ending, which you see a little bit of in the trailer, is just so much of that reminded me of Control.
Oh, visually fucking stunning finale.
Yeah. And also, if you want to see a film where there is a unicorn that is partly made of multiple kittens that pisses glitter and eats people, that is also 6 stories tall.
I will say for this film, this film is a good example of, I could see some of where it was going quite early.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But that didn't lessen my enjoyment in any regard.
No.
If anything, it improved my enjoyment, because I got to be like, oh no, I can see what... I can see...
It gives it a tragic aspect of I know terrible thing is going to happen now.
I can see what the characters in the narrative can't see, and I'm therefore able to look for the clues about that, and I would be very fascinated to watch this a second time.
Oh, hell yeah.
There is definitely stuff that, as I was watching, I got to feel very smart when the end happened, rather than being like, oh, this is so predictable. I was like, oh, I called it.
Oh, no.
Yeah. Fascinating film full of terrific performances.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely non-stop pacing. It just goes and goes and goes.
It really fucking does.
It's amazing how much they squeezed into that film with its relatively short runtime. It's impressive it wasn't a longer film.
Yes. And it never feels too long or too slow or any moment is wasted.
Indeed. So yeah, good luck, have fun, don't die. very recommendable.
I think Conrad is going to enjoy this.
Yeah.
It feels like a very Conrad movie.
What about you? You put anything else in your chronies or ears this week?
I finished reading the novelization for Return to Silent Hill.
Yeah, you
a
did.
film we watched twice that I really enjoyed that is apparently getting absolutely slated by everyone else.
I'm with you on this. Screw the haters. We've got the correct opinion here.
It doesn't even have to be a correct opinion.
I know, I'm being sarcastic.
Fact is, I enjoyed it. I'm sorry other people didn't.
Yeah. It's a shame they didn't get to have the joy out of it that we did.
Yeah, I think it was great for a number of reasons. I'm not going to go into them super heavily, at least not until the film's been out for a while. So we know somebody who was in this film.
We do, yes.
We know somebody who had a lot of their scenes cut entirely. So, who then was like, if you read the novelization, some of that stuff is back in there.
Yes.
So if you want to know what my bit was about, it was about this. So, the novelization does a fantastic job expanding the film, but at least for the first couple of changes specific to the film, I could absolutely see why they had been cut.
Yeah.
And it is very specifically the first time the siren goes and the world starts to go dark. James is... I think we talked about it previously when we were talking about the film. They very much reminded us of Silent Hill Shattered Memories, when you'd have those sort of dark/ice world mode sections where you were just running the gauntlet through all of these creatures very specific to however you were playing the game. That would like jump on you, and in the film it's armless rather than that specific thing. And that scene is beautifully paced for you need to move the character from this thing they need to experience to that thing they need to experience. And what would have massively fucked up that pacing is falling over twice, seeing a feature of Silent Hill and going, okay, well, we're going to take 5 minutes now, and we're going to have a little flashback to when James was pulled over by Detective Dara. That's the blonde one from the Heaven's Night scene. And she's going to like do some like proper citizen intimidation because he's dating someone beloved in the community and child of a cult leader. Which was a really fascinating scene. And then, like, another one where we learn about where Mary worked. She worked in the fashion boutique. And we get, like, our first sort of inclination about James being a bit weirded by the mannequins.
Yeah.
The mannequins that were not in the film.
Yes.
But are in the book.
Yeah.
And about how the cult members are, like, really entangled in Mary's life and constantly surrounding her all day, every day. It's not super clear in the film that, like, the flat downstairs directly from Mary is where Dara and Caitlin live.
Yes.
And that, like, even in their own home, she is surrounded by these people who are, like, partly worshipping her, partly consuming her, and treating her as Messiah and sacrament in one.
Yeah.
Yeah. Drink this blood, for it is... Well, it's my blood, let's be honest. There is so much stuff in the book that I think does a much better job of making it more like the game.
Yeah.
That, like, the constant flashbacks. The reason you need to be here and experience this thing is because you want to punish yourself.
Yeah.
You are in a hell of your own mind that is facilitated by the state that is Silent Hill. And I say the state because we have learnt from the comic books. I know a lot of people don't like those. We've learnt from the comic books, we've learnt from Silent Hill F, and we've learnt from, is it Township, the new one that takes place in Scotland? Townfall.
Yeah.
That Silent Hill is a state rather than necessarily a physical place.
Yeah. So a Silent Hill can live anywhere, even in data.
Even in
the north of Scotland.
A sort of personal purgatory, such as the north of Scotland. I take it all back. I love Scotland, and I would love to visit one day. But yes, you know what I mean. we get 2 monsters that aren't seen in the film in the book. We get the I can't remember what they're called, with the big, like, lumpy forearms.
The things under the metal framing underfoot that try and sort of grab. They're climbing under where you're standing.
Yes, there's several of those in one scene that I think were used to interesting effect. And there is a scene that is a little bit hard cut in the film.
Yeah.
Because it goes from James being seemingly in the past, having this flashback of being in Brookhaven Hospital under observation after Mary's death, to then suddenly he's standing in front of Maria, and he's now going to go downstairs and try and find Mary again. And instead of that, he has that moment where he falls back into Silent Hill from his possibly memory, possibly flashback, possibly he is actually experiencing this in some way because Silent Hill stuff.
Yeah.
And he then has to escape from that room, escape back down the corridors, back down to where Maria is, and while he's about to go into the room where Maria is, encounters 2 of the mannequins. Well done, nice callback. The way it talks about James falling apart while once he's left Mary, not even that she's died, or maybe not. But when he's falling apart, when he's like relying a lot on alcohol, and when he's painting all of the different pictures of Mary in various states of decay and illness, and then the concrete labyrinth with all of those pictures within it, and a wraith version of Mary that he finds himself in at the moment that's being flashed back to. I think a lot of that just really adds extra depth to that story. Yeah. And I appreciate it as a companion to the film. I don't think it replaces it. I don't think anyone who hates the film is going to read the novelization. But no. I think if you like Silent Hill and you wanted a novelization, I believe there is a novelization of the game as well. I think this does a pretty good job of conveying that same story. And I too don't believe that James. Oh, it also includes the freezer scene with Eddie.
Oh yes.
It's sort of cut down from the game because obviously you can't just have a fucking boss fight in a book or a film. I suppose you can a little bit in a film, but it wraps Eddie nicely in the end.
Yeah.
In a way that I think sits really well with, because it comes after that moment where Pyramid Head has dispatched Maria.
Yeah.
And James is like seeing himself as in the same way burdened and trapped in the Pyramid Head as the Red Pyramid. My only gripe with the book is it keeps referring to the armless capital A. It refers to Pyramid Head multiple times in the same sentence as Pyramid Head, capital P, capital H.
Yeah.
But then the dangling creatures, it keeps referring to danglers, lowercase d. It's like, please have some consistency. And avoid tautology when talking about this. I'm sorry, as someone who's written a book, and the biggest thing that wound me up going through editing was that I'm terrible at this. I have too much tautology. I will rewrite whole sentences to avoid saying the same word more than once. I guess I'm a little bit pickier about it now. But yeah, yeah, that was the Return to Silent Hill novelization. What about you? Have you observed any other things?
That's it for me, really. Have you put anything else in your eyes or ears?
Yes. I listened to a short 6-part podcast called Sheeplechase.
Tell me about Sheeplechase.
So, this was written by one of the Magnus Archives, Magnus Protocol cast, and it was put out on the Magnus Protocol feed, with a little note of, hey, you might want to listen to this before the new series, or before Series 2 resumes, at some point in March, I believe. I think they said spring. I downloaded this because I kickstarted the Magnus Protocol, so it's included as part of that. It is numbered as part of the series, but I genuinely think you only need to listen to one episode of the last episode, the one that is described as unbroadcast, and is canned during the episode, because that is really the only one that you need to listen to, unless you are desperate to hear maybe 2 good puns. I love a good pun. The funniest thing, or the most interesting thing about this, if you're not already someone who's kind of like been a bit fascinated by, not into conspiracy theories, but kind of fascinated by conspiracy theories, the way they spread and the people who get sucked into them. Because it is Georgie and I've forgotten what the other character's called, doing a podcast talking about, it's called Sheeple Chase, talking about like conspiracy theories. So there's one about like doppelgangers, like the Paul is dead thing, oh god, who was it? Ariana Grande? No. Somebody else was apparently replaced. Like various singers who've been allegedly
Avril Lavigne?
Avril Lavigne. It was
Yes,
I knew it was
sorry,
name.
yes.
Avril Lavigne, who was allegedly replaced, and it's literally just going through, hey, this is a conspiracy theory that existed. They do UFOs, and including like Area 51. They do Coca-Cola and New Coke, and the conspiracy theories around New Coke. And then it all sort of culminates with episode 6, the cancelled episode, where they talk about the Magnus archives. The Magnus Institute.
Yes.
In Manchester, because we're in the universe of the Magnus Protocol, where there was no Magnus Institute London, or it was never as big as the one in Magnus Archives. And they talk about like why it was set up and how that sort of youth scholarship program worked, because Sam talks about the fact that he went there to be part of that. And it talks about why the general theories around that, and like, oh, Jonah Magnus died, and the things around that, and maybe the people who were in charge of it didn't have necessarily the same goals as Jonah Magnus had. And apart from the comedy adverts for like your mattresses and so forth, that a podcast that's trying to take the piss out of podcasts a little bit, an alternate universe where maybe these products really exist. Who knows? And there's a couple of good puns, and that is really the only reason I would listen to the first 5 episodes. Most of the episodes are about 14 minutes, so you can get through the whole thing in a couple of hours or less. 6 episodes, it's not too bad, but really the essential listening bit for getting ready for the next part of the Magnus Protocol is episode 6. So give it a listen or not, or a limited version of the listen before that happens. What about you? You got anything else?
That's about it for me.
Well, that's about it for me.
Well then, time for this.
Inside the boardroom of Supremacy Software.
Hi. So, I know we don't do, like, a lot of work. We do valuable, important work.
Well, we do, but
and that is what we will keep telling the shareholders.
Well, that's it. That's what we tell the shareholders. But, like, between you and me, there's a lot of hours in the day we don't have to do stuff.
Well, I mean, I practice my putting in my office.
Well, exactly. So we
drink a lot of coffee.
Yeah, and I would like to do more practicing my putting and drinking coffee, and less of the boring bits of the job.
Right.
So,
what are the boring bits?
The bits where we have to, like, I don't know, work out solutions to problems. We're like, the number's not going up. How do we make the number go up? Blah, blah, blah.
But we'll still have meetings, right?
Oh, yeah, of course.
Okay,
well,
yeah.
So I was trying to find a way to, like, have to think less.
Yeah.
And, like, my solution was, I fed all of our meeting notes into an AI that could suggest things for us in, like, our tone.
Right, yeah.
So I want to give it a try. I want to give it a try. Because we can still do the meetings. I'm going to press a button and, like...
I mean, as long as we get to hang out, right?
Yeah. So, let me have a look. First one.
Right.
It says, commit tax fraud with a smile.
I usually do.
Yeah, that's great. I'm a big fan of that. What's next? Tell them the whippings are for their own good.
I'm pretty sure I have been telling them that, but, I'm glad to be vindicated that my idea is the right idea.
Yeah, let's have a look at another one. Put addictive chemicals in the canteen meals to produce a workforce addicted to unpaid overtime.
This machine is incredible.
I think we might need to shut it off. I
don't know. I think that's pretty genius.
No, that's the problem. Neither of us have ever come up with that. I think this might be better than us at doing our job.
As long as no one finds out, right? Right? This isn't connected to, email or anything.
I don't think so. If anyone ever sees us using this, we delete it straight away. We cannot have them know a computer could just outdo us at this.
Yeah, because that is fucking genius.
Right, I know.
Safe food is like bookmarking a web page, but for your safe foods. You bank the perfect version of any meal and we'll deliver you up to 42 identical meals every week in accessible packaging customized to your texture preferences. Save your safe food from improved recipes or becoming unavailable with Safe Food. Safe Food. Do you know what I want to see more of?
What do you want to see more of?
Brochure Justice Warriors.
Brochure Justice Warriors?
Yeah.
Right, Larry.
Right. How you doing?
Oh, I have been better. How are you doing, mate?
I'm doing. How's things been? What's up?
Well, lost a family member, lost our beloved cat in the last week, and honestly, while largely minute to minute, I have been doing better than the initial extreme grief, obviously.
Yeah.
You have a pet that lives, to be over 20.
Yeah.
That is a huge part of life. That's like nearly half my life that, had that pet. And, honestly, there's obviously the initial,
Yeah.
The moment, the very ugly crying, the day or so of that. But then, since then, it's been the little moments of, this is the first time that's not going to happen. This is the first time I'm not going to come home and be greeted at the door. This is the first time I'm going to come into the living room, and I'm going to look to my left, and I'm not going to see, a friendly greeting. This is the first time I'm going to be sat on the sofa with a blanket over me, and a small friend is going to come padding up and sit on my lap.
I get you. It's like the first time you don't have to step over that one step that's like the one they've been hanging out on when you get up in the middle of the night.
Yeah.
Or, first time I left my plate on the table and didn't feel the need to, cover it to stop them licking, a spicy food they shouldn't lick.
It's Thursday. Today's the day I changed the litter box.
Yeah.
Well, no, actually.
Oh, I got to take something outside, just down to the bins. Oh,
I need to shut the door behind me.
I don't have to rush to shut the door behind me to stop and get. It's the little absences, the holes in the routine that suddenly the muscle memory expects something to be there. And
I don't have to make sure the toilet door is always shut to stop them drinking out of the toilet bowl.
It's all the little things that are just part of how you coexisted together that just aren't there anymore. I'll get you. I've been there.
That's where the little hiccups have been, the little wobbles. Have a little extra sit down, have a little cry, and
I get you. And you'll get less and less frequent that he causes a wobble, but there'll be stuff you haven't anticipated, and you might get it might be a while down the line that just something happens or doesn't happen, and you go, Oh yeah, and it comes back to you.
And, it's always a danger with ADHD, of course, because they say that people with ADHD very often don't grieve properly. It comes to a point where they just sort of forget a thing, and then all of a sudden they have that moment of, I've remembered. And also I've remembered that I am upset about that.
Yeah. non-traditional grieving, particularly in neurodiversity,
Well,
can
yeah,
be fun.
yeah. Fancy hug, mate.
Oh, God, yeah.
Good hug, mate.
Good.
Good hug. I think I'm going to go and have a little sit down.
Sounds lovely.
So, Laura,
Yes?
where thing you do on the internet?
Laura K. Buzz! That where do thing on internet.
Yeah.
Laura K. Buzz, Laura K. Buzz, Laura K. Buzz.
Okay, Buzz.
Patreon, that's the one that pays the bills, but it's also where you can just find everything I'm posting. This week's accessibility, I am going to post and then run the fuck away from the internet because...
Oh, yes.
Yeah, this week I'm making a video about Reform UK and their their desire to repeal the Equality Act here in the UK. If nothing else, go check out the wonderful thumbnail Jane made that may have put Suella Braverman's face on a Sith. It's
Or at least an Inquisitor.
an Inquisitor.
I don't really know Jedi outcasts.
A member of the dark side.
Jedi Survivor.
Sithwella Braverman.
Sithwella Braverman.
Yes.
Anyway, that's the pun.
That's the pun, and it's a good pun,
Yeah.
and it's such an unflattering picture of her, I think it was exactly the right one.
It's the only picture you gave me.
It's the only picture she deserves. So go check out that video and, maybe put a nice comment on it if you want, because I imagine there'll probably be some nasty ones. What about you? Where are you out on the internet?
Patreon.com/StonedMonkeyRadio. As little as $1 a month helps me get all the things that I do done, including this episode, this episode, and the show full stop. You can also find me on Humans Holler at News. Episodes that go up on the last day of the month. And, yes, there was one episode where I wasn't on it for going to somebody else's birthday, and apparently the two of them were extraordinarily chaotic. So,
What?
apparently I am the wrangling influence, which is weird because I am extremely unmedicated at the moment.
Look, it reminds me of the first time I left Bonquisition and I was like, I'm pretty chaotic. It's like, oh no, everything went to chaos without you. Where was your wrangling influence? I'm like, oh, okay.
Somebody has to be the mum on these podcasts, and it's usually us.
Yeah.
So yeah, will you sing us out, please, darling?
Until next time, be a stranger.